Let's make sure we protect each other's mental space. If you ever need me, just call. I'ma come running, give it my all. Love is love, God wins. Keep your vibrations high and watch how your blessings. Atlas holding us down while keeping us high. With the law of one, we reach for the sky.
Bring yourself in here. Bring yourself in here.
His arms so strong, the weight won't break. With every step, he helps us away.
Come into the light.
Move as one, moving in love. 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 Atlas eyes on the prize and it's crystal clear. Now we realize what brought us here. His heart of gold and
Get some more people in here. Maybe I gotta share it to the Discord.
he paid the toll for a
That's
brighter
why
day.
Discord is gonna become a problem, because think about it.
Move as one.
Once you get the people in the Discord, we just share the live to the Discord while I imagine.
Move as one, moving in love.
That we gotta make it. At all times we gotta be connected with it. See, this is why it's so tough for me to build a collective, because if you're a part of my collective, you gotta be checking in all the time, because I want to make sure you're good, make sure everything
Reach
copacetic.
for his
You
hand.
know,
The
there's people coming up
stars
missing in this world.
Time been so.
You know, and of course, like, we could put the sound behind this stuff, everything like that, but look, the UFO files is out, secrets are spilling out, the truth is coming out. They saying it's not they have identified 4 alien species that's amongst us, supposedly, allegedly, right? This stuff is happening. The truth is being revealed to us. The Pentagon is talking about it. A lot of people is talking about it. Question is, why is like people not acknowledging it? It doesn't seem like that. It more so seemed like the chaos, the conflict, the separation, the division. We since the 70s, further back before that, Area 51, we always was trying to find out if this was real, if aliens was real, if these secret programs exist, so on and so forth. Now they telling us like, yeah, this stuff exists, and nobody's even batting an eye. You know what I'm saying? So you can go home, right? Right. If we ain't from this dimension, then tell me how to phone home. If this ain't the place I'm a part of, let me know. I want an alien ship to come pick me up in my backyard expeditiously. Let me just call them. The sooner the better. If there's a frequency I need to be on, let me know so I can start elevating my frequency. If it's some shit I need to let go down here, let me know so I can let it go and go. You know, just come pick me up like Enoch or something. Just come pick me up. Just go ahead, you know, pick me the hell up. Um, but yeah, let's listen to this real quick. We might have to stop it.
Released the UFO files a few weeks back, and we just found out over 1 billion people have visited the site. 1 billion. It's got to be a record. The War Department says more files will be released soon. UFO experts and top researchers have been investigating aliens for years. Their sources say dozens of crashed UFOs have been recovered, and what they found inside, shocking.
Do people think that there's one type of non-human intelligence that's visiting the Earth, or is there many, many types?
People who have been involved in recoveries have said
there are at least 4 types, 4 separate types.
4
Now,
separate
I have not
types.
had direct access to that, but I believe the people who I talked to.
4 different types of life.
4 different types of life.
4 different species of aliens.
That visit
Other
us.
scientists called them Greys, Nordics.
Can y'all hear that? Can y'all hear it talking? Greys, Nordax. We have to get into breaking down what are the Greys, what are the Nordax, all of that stuff.
Insectoids, and reptilians. All of them have 2 arms and 2 legs, just like us. Experts speculate the reptilians are scaly with long tails like a lizard. Insectoids look like a praying mantis. The
Cut it
Greys
out.
look like your classic movie alien, and the Nordics.
This sounds
look like a
like
regular
this
Swedish
sounds
alien,
like Spaceship
7 feet
Troopers
tall.
or some shit.
We haven't seen the evidence, but Pete Hegseth says more evidence is coming, and there are a lot of believers in Congress.
I have seen evidence in a skiff that leads me to believe there are things we cannot explain, and I have observed things that are of non-human origin and creation. That's my opinion.
Releasing the files isn't easy. They've been hidden for years, and a lot of people want to keep it that way.
I thought I had a volume on here. I don't.
And I suspect some of our not so friendly comrades and some of our alphabet agencies are slow walking a lot of information. It's about power, it's about control, and that's
Sing or died. Now, we don't know if that's related, but people are scared to talk.
It's the Fox station, not
I
me.
thought was going to do an interview, and then a couple days before sent me a message saying, after further consideration and long talks with my wife, I decided I'd be forfeiting.
So the Alien Files is out now. Let me see if we can get a look at the Alien Files.
Like very
Chilling.
unsettling
UFO.
message to get, obviously, but also very specific word choice, you know, forfeiting my life.
Dan Fair is the director and producer of The Age of Disclosure, the film that started to shake loose the UFO files. All right, Dan, what have you heard about these different breeds of alien life?
Look, a number of the people I interviewed in my film, senior intelligence officials, went on the record saying that there have been dozens of crashed craft of non-human origin over the years, and elements of our government have recovered those crashes, and they've gotten out of that technology of non-human origin, and in some cases, non-human bodies that were on these craft. A number of the people in my film go on the record saying that the bodies were not all the same type, meaning there were multiple species.
Were the bodies alive or were they dead?
The people in my film talked about events where they were dead bodies, they were deceased bodies.
Okay, and there's a lot of speculation about the amount of UFO information we've been given on this first tranche. We expected more. We know there is more. Why do you think people inside the government are fighting so hard to release more?
Yeah, so the president gave his directive in middle of February, essentially instructing all federal agencies to declassify evidence of non-human intelligent life and UAP. What happened after that is
they didn't declassify all of it. They went through it and decided what they was going to give us.
They all, for the most part, pushed back. The people who have gatekept this information for 80 years, they don't want to share it. You know, they've gotten a lot of power and control over the years, and it's just frankly not human nature for people to want to give up power and control. So there's a tug of war happening behind the scenes. There are a number of other reasons guiding their desire to keep this secret, including a general belief that the public can't handle the truth. I would argue the public can handle the truth. I think my film shows that. People aren't watching it and jumping out of windows. They're curious and they want to learn more. There's also a general feeling that a concern that they can't tell the American public what they know and don't know without also telling our adversaries and giving them some sort of advantage. But I think that that's not really accurate. I think our adversaries know we're not alone in the universe. They know we've been recovering craft of non-human technology, non-human origin. Saying it out loud wouldn't give them any new information.
Is there
Those base
also,
facts can be shared.
like, the credibility factor? You know, this is a government that's lied to us about a lot of things for a lot of years. And this was one of the big ones. You were called crazy if you even suggested anything like this. And now they're releasing files admitting that it was actually real. Are they trying to protect themselves, their own credibility?
Yeah, there's certainly an element of that. I mean, no one wants to take accountability. You know, a lot of people's lives were ruined over the years covering this up. A lot of careers were ruined. And, you know, one of the other concerns people who involved in keeping the secret have is the fact that they're worried about coming forward, sharing evidence they have, and then being punished for it, being treated like criminals. You know, and so there are members of Congress right now who are trying to put together amnesty language to give protections to these people so they can step forward more comfortably.
If they did end up releasing an image or a video of non-human life recovered from a craft, and they put that out there, what do you think the public reaction would be?
I mean, truthfully, I think this day and age, with the rise of AI, half the country would probably think it's an AI image and not real.
Right.
That's why I think
everybody would pretty much think it's an AI image. Like if they post something right now about aliens, everybody would think it's AI. Everybody would think it's Project Blue Beam. Everybody would think it's fake. Unless they seen it in the sky themselves outside their house or something like that, if they see it online, everybody's going to think it's fake. And maybe that's part of the plan, is to make people believe that this is happening, to keep us in fear. The real people, they know that these aliens come in peace. The real people know that these things are operated through a consciousness. You know, they know that these spacecraft, spaceships, all of whatever it is that's coming in, they know that it's operating through a consciousness, through some beings down here that are multidimensional beings. They know that the operation of UFOs, UFPs, whatever they want to call it, they know that it's a consciousness that keeps on coming into this dimension. The spacecraft is what the consciousness is operating, but every time they open it up, they don't find nothing in it. A lot of them are empty. You know? You know, so like they telling us this information. They're really trying to prepare our consciousness for this information, right? They're trying to prepare our minds for this, right? They already know, especially with the beings that they are mentioning, right? The beings and the species, the whatever they're mentioning, they are in the earth, right? They're talking about the ones coming from in the earth, right? Reptilians, draconians, whatever you want to call it, right? That's the species that they're telling you about. Insectoids, so on and so forth. They're telling you about probably, beings or species that they probably experimented on over the years or something, right? But they're not telling you about the real beings, right, that are invading consciousness. They're not telling you about that. They're not telling you about the dimensions and the densities that would change in these dimensions. They're not telling you about that. A lot of people are experiencing an invasion of interdimensional beings, but it's taking place inside their conscious, right? So inside a lot of people's conscious, this invasion is already taking place, right? But in the physical world, we don't see it because it's not in the collective consciousness as much, right? The individuals that it's affecting are either being labeled as crazy, put on some type of meds to suppress it, so on and so forth, right? This is where all of these different titles come in: ADHD, ADD, OCD, all of these different things that they medicate you for, right? It's to slow down the fast vibrational frequency of your life water, but also to control your thoughts or slow down the way the brain operates, right? So they're not telling you that this invasion already took place in the consciousness of mankind. They're not telling you that you're going to start seeing more people that are, going to exhibit, dementia, because they're going to get stuck. They're going to wake up and be stuck and shifted in these different dimensions. You know what I mean? They're not telling you this stuff. They're trying to prepare our consciousness for this level of invasion, right? It's like they're trying to prepare your consciousness for this level of invasion, to say that this is happening, right? And then they're going to tell you, like, oh, people are going to be experiencing demonic face syndrome, or whatever it's called, where people are going to start looking like demons, right? And you remember that lady that went crazy on that airplane, or allegedly she started going off on the airplane, where she was saying, like, that I'm telling you now, that person is not real, right? And then you have that situation that took place in Florida, where they said they seen like these 8-foot shadow creatures, right? That information is coming out now, right? So there's a lot of different stuff that's happening in real time. There's a lot of stuff that's happening. A lot more people are becoming overstimulated, crashing out, if you would say, right? This is what happens when multiple timelines are laid on top of each other, and we can't get back to that one true timeline, right? This is what happens when so much division takes place in the world, right? They know that the operation is to put us into a one world mindset, but they're taking that one world mindset and turning it into a one world order. It's a difference between a one world mindset and a one world order, right? A one world mindset is coming to the realization that we're all in this together. Some of us are multidimensional beings, but we're sharing this human experience, right? That's a one world mindset, right? A one world order is where they are determined to have us all believe the same thing. And the problem with that is belief is an unknown system. Belief is an unknown system. So when you aim to control the belief system, you aim to control something that is unknown. And that's the definition of ignorance. Ignorance is not knowing. So when you're trying to create a world where ignorance is bliss, right? And then also try to control the belief system of that world, you're already destined for this level of chaos. Right? This is why Socrates was one of the smartest people in the world, is because he knew that he knew nothing at all. He knew no matter how much studying or no matter how much questioning he did, he knew that he knew nothing. He would question the question, and he would be the one asking the question. Do you get what I'm saying? So in this world, we are supposed to be forever learning. We're supposed to be forever learning in this world. We're supposed to be forever learners. We're supposed to be, there's certain things in our brain that awaken when we open up the doors for universal knowledge. When you open up the doors for a level of knowledge, right, that is unbeknown to mankind, this is where universal thinking comes in, right? You're opening up dimensions of the brain in order to expand the universe inside of you, right? You can see this expansion, but you can also see the breakdown of it. It's in everything. It's in the days of the week. It's in the 24-hour clock. The reason why our 12 hours a day and 12 hours a night, it's because of duality. It's because of as above, so below. It's because of the 12 zodiac signs that we see, right? It's 12 zodiac signs that we see, 12 constellations, whatever you want to call them, that we see. And then there's 12 we don't see. If you speak to somebody from Australia, they'll tell you about the 6 that's in the sky over there that we can't see. If you speak to somebody from Alaska, they'll tell you about the 6 that's in the sky over there that we don't see. See, there's 6 in the north and 6 in the south that we can't see. That's why there's 12 we see and 12 we don't see. The same way our day is broken down, 12 hours a day, 12 hours a night. If someone told you that there was actually 12 hours in a day, you would probably charge more for the 8 hours that you're giving them. But someone tell you that it's 24 hours in a day, and you'll believe that lie, that it's 24 hours in a day. But you know for a fact it's not 24 hours in a day. It's 24 hours in what they consider or make up a day. But really, there's only 12 hours in a day, and then there's 12 hours in a night. The 12 we see, the 12 we don't see. But when you start expanding your consciousness or the universe that is inside of you, when you start expanding your mind for this knowledge, then other constellations will start coming into your mental space. You'll start having fragments of memories of other constellations that exist. You'll start realizing, like, damn, there's 48 constellations outside of our 24 constellations. And then there's 88 constellations outside of that. Right? So when you start broadening your horizon, as they say, when you start expanding your brain for knowledge, fragments of other pieces of history will start coming into your mind. Now, I don't know if you'll go as far as actually studying Zachariah Stitchens or looking up Plato with the study of the Atlantis cataclysm, or if you'll look up Lemuria, or if you'll go into trying to study the crystals that are in the earth, or trying to understand how these Lee lines are working, or get into the depths of the DNA and how the RNA in the DNA affects spirituality, and how we're in the Aquarius sky right now, and that is a time of spiritual awakening. So, like, I don't know the depths of what your mind is going to lead you to study, but when you open up the door for this study, this is what you open up the door for, right? The possibilities of this, the possibilities of all of this stuff. you know so This is why I say, like, you know, if you pay attention, you can pick up on this stuff. Hold on, let's listen to this last part real quick, and then we'll find a different
putting
one.
their reputations on the line to share what they legally can, and there's real stakes to that. You know, I think it makes much more of an impact these days when we live in a time where everyone thinks everything they see online is fake.
Do you think the president's a believer? This weekend, he posted an image of himself walking down the tarmac with an alien.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah. Look, I think he's learned the reality of the situation, that we're not alone in the universe. And, you know, I think this disclosure process is happening because he's put it in motion. I know I just heard today from friends on the House Committee to Declassify Federal Secrets that there will be another 40 or so UAP videos declassified in the next 30 days. On top of that, key members of the cabinet are aggressively trying to find the most meaningful evidence within the federal agencies and branches of the military, so they can then decide what of that evidence can safely be declassified. And there's, you know, this is going to be a rolling process. It's going to be a rolling disclosure process.
I mean, we're seeing a video right now on the screen. I expect to see better quality videos. We've been hearing stories about craft that right degree angle, you know, things that just you can't even conceptualize flying that way. It's a humbling experience for the human race. That has to be a major issue here, almost a religious issue.
Yeah, look, some people say they worry it would negatively impact religion. I don't really personally see that. I think that, you know, all the world's religions will sort of fit this into their existing dogma in one way or another. And yeah, I think a lot of these arguments that society can't handle the truth and we're all going to be too shook up by this, I don't think that holds up at this day and age.
No, well, this presidency has been the age of disclosure, and I think we should just keep it going. The more we know,
Absolutely.
I think we just have to follow the truth wherever it leads us. Everybody watch
absolutely.
The Age of Disclosure. It is eye-opening, to say the least. Thank you so much. Be sure to like and subscribe for all the Fox News latest on
All
YouTube.
right, so look, let's find another one. So, like, they're putting out this information about aliens, and they're telling us that aliens exist, and they're saying that they identify, for species. But my thing is, what about these light beings? What about these star seeds? Right? If you telling us that aliens exist, then these light beings and these star seeds that we are coming into an understanding of being, right? Then that must exist as well, right? If they're telling us that they identified so many types of aliens outside of us, then that means that same thing exists with inside of us. You get what I'm saying? Do you get what I'm saying? So if they are already identifying species outside of the vessel, and we know as above, so below, as without, so within. So in order for them to even identify reptilian beings outside of us, that means that the majority of the collective is in a reptilian state of mind. Thus far, a reptilian state of being can present itself to us. Does that make sense? So right now, the types of beings that are presenting themselves to us, the reason why is because collectively, right? We majority of the collective, more of the collective is in their reptilian state of mind, right? So that would be the beings that will present themselves, right? Because if we're all multidimensional beings, then the dimensions that we are presenting ourselves in are these lower insectoid reptilian states of beings, right? So, as above, so below, as without, so within. Within side of us must be a majority of reptilians, must be, a majority of this or that, right? This is probably why the Georgia Guidestone stated that they were supposed to lower the population by 95% or whatever the case may be, right? Because they already understood that the collective brain was being affected, right? Of course, you're leading heavily to no because you're not in the understanding. So a man thinketh, so shall it be, right? So because the majority of the collective tried to add the thousand monkey theory to this, right? Try to add that, right? If 1,000 monkeys all started eating ants as protein on one continent, subconsciously on another continent, this would also take place. Do you get what I'm saying? So that's why I say, like, when you really look at this, the greater understanding of it is more so on a collective scale. More people are in the reptilian part of the brain. If you break down the brain, you'll have the reptilian brain, the instinctual brain, and then the higher brain, right? So if you break it down, you'll see what I'm talking about, the reptilian part of the brain, right? So if more people are in the reptilian consciousness or the reptilian part of the brain, which is like the root chakra, fight or flight, survival chakra, right? Then the operation will be more given to those types of species, these insectoids, insectoids, whatever they want to call them, the titles that they're giving them, right? But if we were in a higher functioning part of the brain, we will see the angelic beings that exist, right? It's like being able to see the frequency that you're on, right? So because we created a messed up frequency, everyone is able to see what's on that frequency, right? So if the reptoids, the serpetoids, whatever you want to call them, if they exist on that frequency, when the veil is removed, you'll see the things that exist on that frequency. But if we was in a higher frequency, right, we would see those things that exist on that frequency collectively. But because collectively we're in the lower frequency, they are seeing the lower beings that exist on that frequency. The veil is thinning and you're seeing the lower beings that are there, right? But if we were in the higher realms collectively, then we would see the unicorns, we would see the angelic beings, so on and so forth. Does that make sense? So it's a collective thing, right? If we had a smaller collective, right? If we had a smaller collective consciousness, then we would have been excelled already to the 5D. We would have been able to push that consciousness to the higher realms already, right? But because so many people in this consciousness believes in the unaliving process, so many people in this consciousness believe in worry, doubt, grief, greed, because so many people in this consciousness believe in envy, hurt, pain, hate, right? We're seeing that more in the world now because so many people on this consciousness believes or feel that, right? But if we look at it on a higher level, right? I'm sorry, I'm trying to text somebody at the same time as I'm speaking. So, on a higher level, you know, this is happening on a higher scale also, right? This is happening on a higher scale also. You know, but they can only release the information that they're given, right? So if they're being informed, then there can only be released the information that's given, right? If the people or if the entities that are in charge are only trying to let us know about the lower vibrational entities, then they're not going to mention the higher vibrational entities. This is why we know about spiritual possession, that a demonic entity can possess a person, but they don't tell you about the angelic energies that can possess people. They don't tell you about the angelic beings that can possess you. Everything they tell you is always a demonic being. You know, they always pulling something out of the 72 demons of the soul of man. That's all they want you to think exists, is these lower vibrational beings. So they're not telling you about the higher vibrational beings that's coming into the realm. They're not telling you about the light beings that's coming into the realm, the star seeds that's coming into the realm. They're telling you about the lower vibrational beings, the reptilians, the inserpatoids, the you know, these beings, right? They're reporting them, right? Because they're in aligned with them, right? They're not telling you about the higher beings because that's not what they want you to know. They don't want you to know. You know, remember, this is all duality. This is all duality. In order for them to release this information, they would have to release more information about the consciousness. And these, you know, they would have to release information about the Lee lines and all of that stuff. You know? Antarctica and all of the pyramids that are on Antarctica, so on and so forth. They would have to release a lot of that info. They would have to tell us about a lot of this stuff. And they not going to tell us. One's in the chat if you understand.
Gaia, meaning all the earth. Wegener proposed that Pangaea existed about 240 million years ago, but by about 200 million...
we can't listen to it because of that. I think that theme in the background is going to stop us. That noise that's in the background, a lot of them put them tunes on. That's why we just tuned into Fox News, because they ain't going to have a lot of that.
but they never stop by.
I've made all these movies where I've kind of played an ambassadorial role. They've never shown themselves to me. Why is that? It's so unfair.
We all grew up watching his movies. Back then it felt like science fiction, but now, not so much.
When I made Close Encounters, for me, it was a story that I thought, wouldn't it be great when this movie comes out? Wouldn't it be great if people like this movie, they come out and they see Close Encounters? And wouldn't it be great if this someday could all come true?
Congress wants answers too. House Republicans think private contractors know something we don't. One congressman just sent a letter to MIT demanding a classified video called Flying Saucer Talk from the 50s. The first batch of the files dropped a few weeks ago. The Department of War says more are coming soon. Not sure what the holdup is. It's not like Pete's been busy with anything. But we're just scratching the surface. These files have been buried for decades, and the deep state doesn't want them out. But they're coming, and we're hearing they're pretty big.
But I think they're taking it so serious that we're gonna get to more tranches of more meaningful evidence, and I think eventually we'll get to that thing that moment that we've all only seen in movies, where a sitting president steps to a microphone and tells the world we're not alone in the universe.
Missouri Congressman Eric Burleson joins us now. Congressman, why would universities have material on aliens? How did that happen?
Yeah, so MIT Lincoln Labs is one of the many federally funded research and development centers. These are quasi-private public entities that have a sole mission of doing long-term research on projects, and their sole client is the United States government. So this is the exact type of location that we should be searching for a topic like this. And that's why my team is aggressively pursuing information, documents, videos that are in the possession of these federally funded research and development centers, whether it's MIT Lincoln Labs, RAND Corporation, MITRE, and others. That's where we're taking our investigation.
Are they handing documents over, or are they saying, don't come knocking?
You know, so we sent a letter to MIT Lincoln Labs, and they responded immediately, their legal team did, that they would comply with our letter. We just received word from Michael Thomas, who is the National Records and Archives and Records, that they're cooperating with MIT Lincoln Labs, working with the Department of War to coordinate the release of a 1952 video from an individual from Project Blue Book by the name of Edward J. Ruppelt, who was briefing these scientists about the incursion of UFOs in the United States.
Okay, well, that could be groundbreaking. The, I guess, first batch we got, pretty eye-opening. We expect more. What do you expect to see on the next drop?
So there's a lot of videos that we had received word from insiders. We have a list of video files. We sent those to the Department of War requesting access to be able to be briefed on those. We have been briefed. Representative Luna, myself, and Burchett and others sat in a room and watched 52 videos. And it was some of these videos that have not been made public yet. Some of them are very interesting. I don't want to get people's hopes up. There's a lot of videos, and I think that the way that the administration is going about this is the right way, but just keep in mind, a lot of these videos have not been explained, but as you watch some of them, you'll see that some of them are clearly balloons or birds, but there's also some things in there that are very interesting.
Are you a believer?
I'm not. I'm a skeptic, Jesse. I'm still a skeptic, but I'm doing my job. I'm on oversight. I'm following the investigation where it takes me, and I'm keeping an open mind. I'm just trying to stick to the facts. But what I will point out to you is that one of the documents that people are kind of overlooking in that first batch is towards the very end. It's a document that's named U.S. per Statement.
All right, y'all. I gotta go get some stuff for the donkeys and stuff, some straw, some different stuff like that. So lock in with me. Lock in with me. But love is love. Namaste. Ashe. Salutation. Shalom. We're going to go live as soon as we get back. We're going to go live as soon as we get back. You know what I mean? But I got to run
Speak to my soul, speak to my soul. Speak to my soul, speak to my soul. Wake up to the take up. Time for a shake up. Everything is changing. There's a real wake up. Mr. Wise is way ahead. Go back, listen to what he said. Truth being told, expose the lie. The brand new sky is something you can't deny. This is the reason why